Garage, the abyss of humanity. Ever since playing this game, I feel that I view reality a little different. I think the philosophical depth you can gain from playing this game is immense, incredibly insightful, and infinitely deep. All the horror games I've played have not captured true horror like Garage has. I think it's due to the relatability that it offers if you look deep enough. And for that, if you take it serious, truthfully play through it with all your attention, it comes off as a traumatic experience, but an invaluable one. So let's look into the abyss of humanity called Garage. Characters resembling homunculus, but the disproportions are founded upon the beauty continuum instead of the sensory continuum. And closer to imperfect these characteristics are, the larger the size of them. It's like looking at oneself in the mirror in a nightmare. You cannot imagine a worse image. Is everyone in this place because we lost sight of what made us human? Removing the beauty of nature by becoming one with the mechanical? The realm in which these creatures live is bounded to provide you with nihilistic and absurdist insights. It's first in which you believe that this is an eternal and cyclic nightmare, doing the same meaningless tasks over and over with no escape. If you don't leave this mindset, you'll quit the game and never touch it again. It requires some absurdism like Sisyphus to rebel against the abyss, not succumb to suicide, and find joy through not letting up and acceptance of your surroundings. This way, you endlessly survive even if miserably. You don't lose the thing you only ever had. You will run into others that don't carry the same strength like the folk in the movie theater. A perfect multi-medium take on what total despair would be like if it were a place. The only entity hanging onto a thread in this realm is handicapped, needing you to assist him as if his life depended on it. A nice oxymoronic statement, as what he needed was an escape from the turmoil. See, here suicide isn't as easy as the slice of your wrist, which may deceptively entice others to want it more due to its scarcity. So any shine of hope, like you, that they can get their hands on it, it's A to B. This is what makes the world so traumatic. It isn't known how long this world has existed. It's possible it is simply the anti-ideal conception of humanity that has always existed in the abstract, but brought to life through a very demented man. Yet this representation of society is invaluable. It certainly comes across as the modern hell. As hell is very dramatic and chaotic, Garage is instead the reality in which any human right now has the opportunity to encounter by accident or by a combination of negative philosophical steps or spiritual decay, left in the bottom of the well of misanthropy with no escape. The sewage and griminess of this environment resonates as the physical manifestation of the disgust of society. Right now, look at your environment, focus in on all the imperfections, magnify them to the extreme, and you'll feel that you're wandering on through filth that is human or humanly created. However, this is all you have. You continue your journey just to come into contact with other beings that are as dissociated and removed from embracing this existence as you are. They don't even possess the ability to crack any facial expressions. Robotic as they come, this reality doesn't include the qualities that let you develop a connection with something. The way in which they are immobile on the same track that you are resembles that they retain zero faith in any sort of progress in this existence. Any sort of journey would be doomed to be useless failure, another factor that creates an extreme level of loneliness. What's left of humanity here is that the economy is still operating in a capitalistic sense. The only thing motivating these creatures are the sales they can make off of you. And this road gets a lot more horrifying when you first walk upon the reserves of resources in which all the men and active society is operating on. The women have been turned into gas pumps. Their place in which they live is for your convenience. Their use is for your exploitation of them and your ego. Women have been buried under men, victims of a hedonistic and power-hungry world, forever enslaving the physical weak. Absurdism is your only choice, to accept the unreasonable nature of existence and push forward out of rebellion, or have faith there's a way out. Your mission doesn't include any noticeable change until you make it to the sewage canal, stumbling upon your shadow. Remind yourself that we are in the confines of one's imagination. Your shadow curled up into a ball, crying and hidden away from any contact. Your shadow is the you that you deny or suppress, the embodiment of what your soul craves, yet is harmful to the world around you. The shadow here is the perfect representation of that. The entire time you're playing this game, on the inside, you are cowardly, running away from any sort of journey or persistence in this journey. Easier to run away, give up and cry and get rid of the only thing you have. However, every time you make a move in this game, those feelings are left to this shadow. You're the one facing the absurdism head on, leaving your shadow to be unseen. This is a direct contrast between you, the one taking action, and the weaker and less meaningful self that you hide away. Quite brilliant by the creator. So then, the lighthouse, a creative metaphor for the executive control part of the brain and psyche, is a place within Garage, the place highest up with the ability to oversee the entirety of Garage. Just like the prefrontal cortex, it harnesses the center at which decisions are made, the HQ for all information to be evaluated and acted upon. Wisdom is offered here in this place, updates your quest, and determines your path forward. Horrifically, however, severed bodies of girls and women are the ones controlling and or fueling the lighthouse, your psyche. Resembling you are a broken man with broken dreams, frantically putting the pieces together to continue your hopeless journey in life or this existence. This is in direct contrast to what the psyche wishes for, wholeness of the self. But the lighthouse is lit, and you still are pursuing something. Until we begin to reach what feels like the end, we uncover an individual that appears to be waiting for us, frozen, staring off into space, focused on the door in which we walk through. We are his savior. His faith was placed in our arrival. We hand him what he so desperately needed, the disassembling and unraveling of the only thing he possesses, this existence, an eternal nightmare, spending his eternity hidden away out of fear, cowardliness. He has devoted his life to hedonism to counter the suffering of this world. The hedonist in which all lives in us is him, another embodiment of our own self with our darkest desires. Viewing girls as the key to his perverted hedonistic ideology, he attempts to manufacture the pinnacle machine in which satisfies and pleases us sexually and pleasurably at the highest of our wishes. Here lies his creation, the enslaved woman in which her only purpose is to serve the male's hedonistic and sexual pursuit, his way to combat and escape the suffering that surrounds him. Through design, she is infinitely bounded by her own exaggerated sexual and mystical qualities. This all on purpose to alleviate the worries of the cowardly leader. Her vagina is placed in the easiest and the most accessible position. He no more has to face the chaos. He deletes his experience while she is left behind. You sit there in awe. You wonder what your fate is until you go down a path that he hasn't gone, or possibly has, but rejected it out of fear. A reflection of yourself incapable of staring into the abyss, facing your fears, conquering the darkness willingly. You meet your shadow once again. Once you get down that road, it all becomes clear. You voluntarily enter the void and come out a hero, or you run until you can't and paralyze yourself into a frozen state of agony and helplessness, frivolous and fearful. Garage, the abyss of humanity, forever increases in prevalence with wrongful leadership and direction, and remains eternal if no one dares to do what it might have to take in order to kill it once and for all.